What's up, y'all? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson, and it is fantastic to be back with you again today. We're talking toxic. Amber Heard, Johnny Depp still in trial. Johnny Depp is testifying for like the 3.5 day. It's day 8 of trial altogether. This morning has by far been the most interesting. So we had a lot happen this past weekend. I want to get right into it. Amber Heard's her attorney in the opening statements held up this compact of makeup and said, this is the makeup she held for, to cover her bruises, and this is the compact. Well, because of that, this company, Melania, comes out and goes, hey, guess what? She says that she used that back in like 2015, 2014, and 2013. Ding dong dingus over here didn't realize that we didn't release that product until 2017. We are not helping this bitch, right? So Melania wants to clear their name of any attachments with her. Funny enough, Amber Heard is a L'Oreal ambassador, so why she didn't choose that? But they might have told her, don't mention our fucking names in this stuff, because they actually did have an agreement together. So you had that. That's big. So for those of you that don't know how court works, Johnny Depp is currently testifying, so that means he is considered a witness in this case. Amber Heard, also the case. Any other witnesses, and there's tons of them, I think there's like a couple hundred of possible witnesses, the jury, are not allowed to watch like the news, right? But the lawyers can. So Amber Heard's legal team learned this as well over the weekend. Now, it has not been presented yet, but that means everyone knows about it. It's coming at some point, right? So this morning comes up. Everyone's making a big deal. Amber Heard is mirroring Johnny Depp in his looks, the way he looks. That was obvious. There was the B, then she wore the B. That had to explain the weird military uniform she was wearing because there was no other reason for it. And then she kind of copied his look all throughout. I mentioned she had the makeup that made it look like she had dark bruises under her eyes to kind of give that appearance. Didn't like that. She was very stone-faced until at times it seemed like she was trying to force looks. I have no doubt this woman is narcissistic. I want to get into why later. She gave a very, very definition of a narcissistic argumentative rant at Johnny Depp this morning that her own attorney played in court. Now, this morning's been interesting. We've all known that Johnny Depp likes to draw his answers out. He likes to get his context in there. Amber Heard's legal team tried to shut that down one time, and it worked. I thought it was going to continue, and then the ball seriously swung into the other side of the court, which in Amber Heard's legal team kept trying to admit a bunch of evidence. That was just kind of, it didn't make Johnny Depp look good, but it didn't mean anything, and it was a total stretch. It was like pictures of him being passed out, and there was like a couple arguments that all this noise static is going on, and then he's like, you said that you fucking hit her, right? And he was like, no, I didn't say that. I heard a bunch of noise, and I heard me say, I'm leaving. And he was like, next question. And it was like, so there's this tone in the courtroom, and there has been throughout, that Amber Heard's legal team is having to stretch so far as to attack a man's addiction recovery. A lot has been made of the time that he spent on the island in Australia where he was going to detox from opiates. As someone who's gone through withdrawals, I can tell you that is a very specific time, right? Some people can absolutely detox around loved ones and people that care about them, and that's a thing, right? And then there's other people who the burden of having people that they genuinely love see them in the situation that they know they're about to go through, because anyone who's ever actually gotten clean from drugs or alcohol, you've flirted with the idea. So you've played with the withdrawals, and that's usually what causes you to say, fuck this, a life on drugs is better than feeling like that. And it's that stronghold that even keeps you in the addiction, right? So you're seeing a relationship with substance abuse in it, with a narcissist on top of that, who seemingly, and Johnny Depp's, defense team might have done a very good case of this, seemingly she picked her victim based off his vulnerabilities so she could exploit him, knowing that with her bratty rant and tirades and smacking him around a little bit, that he'll fall in line, right? Okay. I've spoke on my experience of knowing people like this, and this comes to where this morning, Johnny Depp seemed like he got his back up against a wall a little bit. There was some rapid fire questions that just did not make Johnny look good. He called her a fat ass and he, all this stuff. Let me take a pause from this real quick and mention something. I'm watching a lot of coverage. I'm currently staring at a screen of Legal Bites where they're covering the case. I'm watching a lot of coverage. I don't know why people are blurring out when they say domestic violence or abuse or stuff like that. Guys, I'm not going to blur that out. If that's offensive to you, don't watch this fucking case. I'm sure YouTube might strike my analytics a little bit, but I keep watching all these shows where it's oh, and then he said, and you're like, wait, what? And you have to guess, did they say abuse, domestic violence? It's hey, we're talking about this, right? We're talking about it for the sense to to stop it from happening and to raise awareness to it. So we have to be able to talk about it. So we can't be so sensitive that we're going to censor out the words that are involved to emphasize the importance of the point we're making. Then you're not using your words, right? You're literally doing the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing, which is raising awareness to what you see, only what you see. Now, I want to make this point also. Johnny Depp should not be made out to be a hero in this situation, right? Johnny Depp has exuded a lot of character flaws, some understandable and some unique to him. And in that, is Johnny Depp, forgiven or forgivable? Absolutely. If it comes out that he ever put his hands on her in a way to harm her, no, you can't forgive that. Amber Heard, to me, and this is where we'll get into her giving a model presentation of a narcissistic, argumentative rant. She starts with a point. The point itself towards him is argumentative, being, you're a drunk, you're this, using his own battle against him. That right there is wrong, right? If you're supporting someone, you don't use their battles against them. It's the same token as you don't keep a tally of shit you do for each other or against each other. It's not I brought you dinner to the table 3 times last week, and then I did the dishes, and then, we fucked 3 times, and you keep all these tallies as to why you're doing better in the relationship than the other person. And then in the moment of heated fragility, you start bombarding this person with these things, and you're like, God damn, here we go. So right there, you're kind of already putting somebody on man, fuck this person. I trusted you with all my shit, and I was vulnerable in my life with you, and I let you know when I was tired and when I was hungry and shit like that. And it was damn, all right, now I see what a big deal is to you. Bet I won't be like that anymore. So then the next day comes, there's tension, there's whatever. This person's like, fuck you, bitch. I don't need you for nothing. I don't want you for nothing. See ya. You want to be so fucking, okay, go. Well, now we're not spending time together, this, that, and this. We're doing, what's the point of us even being together? And you're like, well, fucking, I don't know. I've been questioning that for a while. Oh, really? Fucking blah. So now it turns into, well, you're a fucking alcoholic, Johnny. And you can hear it when she made the point. You're an alcoholic, Johnny. He goes, I'm not fucking doing this again. And then she goes, no, answer this. And this is where the narcissistic rants come in. They start rapid firing questions that you can't answer because they don't make any fucking sense. They will trail all over the place. No, Johnny, what happens is you beat my ass, and she makes a statement. She's not asking him. She's doing the same thing the lawyer's doing. She's making a statement. You can just beat my ass, and then when I come back home looking like shit, and I didn't make dinner for you, and you had a bad day at the movie set, and someone stole $650 million from you, I can tell you you're a fucking old washed up asshole motherfucker who just, and you're like, yo, hey. Why are you doing all this as someone who's supposed to love me in a weak moment of mine, right? I'm down. I'm down. Why are you kicking me, yo? Like, if I'm down, I'm supposed to be looking up and seeing you running from behind to drop kick the motherfucker that's kicking me. Not kick me. The fuck are you kicking me for? I just lost $600 million today. And now you're going to record me in my reactions? Because I've done nothing but help you and your people and my people and their people and their mother's people? And I just realized today that not only am I dealing with your crazy ass, everyone who I thought loved me is also taking advantage of me. God, fuck. I can't catch a break. Yeah, man, that's going to make you a little emotional in life. I've been there. I've been in a place in life where you're sitting somewhere and you just got crazy news. Like for me, obviously it comes down to heartbreak. Somebody left. In my situation, there was kid involved kind of thing. And I remember sitting in this moment where like this story was told about me. That I had abandoned my girlfriend at the time with my, at the time, thought to be young son. And the story turned out to all my closest friends and even some of my family that I abandoned this woman on the side of the highway with a child. When that was not what happened. What was happening in the car, I'm getting slapped and shit, screamed at, berated like this, which is like, you think I'm fucking fat ever since the baby, and that's why I fucking cheated, and that's why he's not yours, and you're like, yo, all the while, you're getting slapped, you want to fucking leave, then leave, and you're like, yo, and I got a kid in the car. So you end the relationship verbally. Yo, we're so fucking done, and that leads to the, more slapping and the dragging on you while you're driving. Yo, this is a bad situation, driving down the highway. So I pull off on an exit, the closest one I can get to, and there's a hotel directly that I can see off the highway. And I tell her, you take your ass in that lobby and call your dad. She was like 17, 18 at the time. She goes, I'm not leaving my fucking son with you. You're a drunk. You're this, you're that. And I had like barely even started messing around with drinking and stuff yet. I had no smoking, no nothing at that time. So like for her to say that, it was only like we were drinking whenever like her parents were providing us alcohol and shit at her house that we were living at. So that was erroneous completely. So I'm like, yo, here's the thing. You're getting the fuck out of my car because I'm not getting you back in my car and taking you home, which is what she wanted, so you can keep hitting me and then I drive off the road and kill all of us. That's not going to happen. So here's what's going to happen. You can take the baby into the lobby because you are the mother of this child. I'm going to go to our mutual friend's house and we're going to talk about this. We were supposed to be going out that night. So I left them there and I went and did what I was supposed to do. Sure. If you tell the narrative, right, that there was an argument and I left them on the side of the highway, that sounds pretty goddamn bad, right? But if you explain the story of what was going on and of the options that were available, did you make the best one? Okay, there's another conversation to be had. We had Trump as president. Not saying he did good, not saying he did bad, but at the time, we were all picking a lesser of two evils. Sometimes in life presents you with just a shit sandwich, right? And on that shit sandwich, you've got just day-old shit over here, day-old shit, and then you've got like 5-day-old shit. And this is a big sandwich. You've got to eat this whole sandwich. You got to pick a side to start on. You might as well pick one quickly and get started. Because guess what? You're going to eat it. Huh? It's your life. That's the life you have, is a shit sandwich in front of you. So, enough with that analogy. It angers me, right? Because as someone who struggles with addiction, who has in my life, alcohol was such a battle for me. Because alcohol numbed the feelings of inadequacy and gave me the confidence to speak up for myself. Unfortunately, it also went with discernment and good decision making and things like that. So obviously, can't do that. But I remember people who always seemed to not like when I drank were always the people who didn't like when I was outspoken about how I really feel or what I really want. Or, when I drank with my buddies, I was not an asshole. I wasn't violent towards anyone. I didn't, nothing. I didn't fight people often in bars. Occasionally it happened. I was a young kid who made mistakes. But I, in general, was a normal guy to be around. It was when, and this is a self-admittance of mine, when I had just had enough of even my day. Had nothing to do with the relationship I'm in, whatever. I've had enough of my day. Say I just worked a day, and it doesn't have to be any dramatic amount of hours, but just, you've had a day. It's enough. Then you're drinking. Sure, you might have had a few conversations about like, damn, dude, you drink a lot, whatever. But it's like, yo, I'm not trying to hear any of that shit right now. And this is my life, right? At the end of the day, if we're in an adult relationship, this is my fucking life, and I can live it how I want. So if I choose to drink a beer or whatever, and this is someone coming in sobriety from alcohol. I don't drink. Haven't for almost a year again now. It's been 6 years and about a week and a half thrown off there. But, so I know something about sobriety, right? And it's like I'm speaking from the sense of like, yo, if you want to sit down and have a beer, nobody has the right, nor should they, out of intelligence, walk up to you and be like, what the fuck are you doing now? Like, oh, look at you. Here you go again. Here's the thing. That's like telling someone to calm down. That's not going to work. You're looking at someone bandaging a wound and yelling at them for getting the injury, right? So what you want to do is, now again, they might be dumb. You might have told them 10 times, hey, dumbass, that board that you stuck on a cinder block, you take that fucking bike and you go down that hill and you hit that thing. That's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. That thing you're going to hit the bottom part. That thing's going to fly up and you're going to flip the fuck over. And they go, you know what? I've done it before up here. I can do it again. Ready, set, America. And they fucking go and they crash. And now they're down there bandaging and they're having a bad day with no emotional support regulation at all. And then they're drinking. You and your fucking Cadet Kelly ass need to stay out of there from going, look at you, you have a bad day, and now you get back into this. Okay, now's a good time for me to call you a cunt, right? Because you're just fucking with me now. And I don't appreciate it, right? You don't want to be a part of this problem, right? This isn't about you. Don't make it about you. So, don't come in then and be like, well, you said this and you said that and you said this. Okay, you can hold someone accountable for their word. If they said that they weren't going to drink on the weekdays or whatever their shit is, you can hold them accountable to that. But if they're making a choice, respect that choice and respect it for yourself and go, hey, you said you weren't going to drink on Monday through Friday. You're drinking on a Wednesday. I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving. That's an appropriate response. Standing and screaming and belittling and berating is not going to get you anywhere. Because you're either going to go from just being a traumatic, narcissistic asshole abuser to someone who was genuinely had love and support in their heart and wanted to help. And those two lines you can cross when it turns into selfish behaviors, right? When you start wanting to dictate when people can relax and how they can relax and how they can recover from trauma and how they can heal and how long that can take and what's emotionally, what's acceptable to you, you have every right in your life to make those decisions for you. You don't have the right to make those for other people. If you're with someone who drinks too much, you have a right to say, by this date, if my life doesn't look like this, I'm changing shit. You have every right to hear the information I'm giving you and act accordingly. That's within everyone's right to live that way. Now, it's awful harsh. Very little grace there. Very little understanding. Very little, compromise. But it can be done. And sometimes it does need to be done. And, Johnny Depp is not doing a good job of owning up for his substance abuse. He's trying to dodge it, saying he doesn't have an issue with drinking. His only real issue is with the opiates. Come on, man. Stop playing. Stop playing. Because if you're going to tell the story, tell the fucking story. You're already here. You already look like shit. So tell the story. You're an addict who uses drugs and alcohol to heal the traumas that happened to you in your life, whether it be from your childhood, friends fucking you over, getting into a toxic relationship that you contributed to. Own that. And then now clear your name, if valid, of being a domestic abuser. But this whole dancing party that they're trying to do where they just want to pinpoint, like, look at you in this moment. Well, yeah, man, he's a drug addict. You ever hang out with him? It can get messy sometimes. If you've ever been around a solid drug addict, right? If you've ever been around them, they're interesting folks. And again, I was an addict and an alcoholic, so I can talk about my community, right? They're known to nod off from now and again, right? You might be having a full conversation with them. You look over, they're gone, sleeping, or they're physically gone. I've had friends of mine who were chasing individuals from bars at times when I've turned my back from a few seconds. They're known to do interesting shit from time to time. You can explain a couple pictures of you being passed out with ice cream or whatever. Why Amber Heard had a fascination when Johnny Heard was passed out, or Johnny Depp was passed out to put dairy in his hands, I don't understand. Because there's twice now. One time she put ice cream in his hand. The second time he was holding like I don't know what it was, but it looked like a glass of milk or something. They didn't let that one go into evidence. But it was like, okay, why does she like to take a picture of a known guy who, he uses the term, is on the nod when he was on prescription pills, taking pictures of him to belittle him and stuff like that? That just shows her intent the whole time. Her intent was not to get him sober. Her intent was not to help him. Her intent was not to be a loving and supportive spouse. Her intent this whole time was to dig up dirt on the infamous Johnny Depp and be able to expose this to the world. And when she tried, and she wanted to put the nail in what she calls a washed up actor's coffin in Hollywood. She thought she was going to do it by escalating her own stock during the Me Too movement. And I think it's just not working. I think she made some very bold accusations. They added sexual assault into the opening statement, saying she was molested with an alcohol bottle. No mention has been made of that yet. Maybe during Amber Heard's side of the testimony, but we'll see. I've heard no mention of that at all. And they're on break right now. So this is just kind of a morning recap of everything that's going on, thrown in with why I care about this and why I'm following it so hard. It's because, man, like I'm almost watching different relationships that I've been in my life when I hear some of these fucking phone calls and stuff. On my side as well. I'll own that. Where I'm like, you fucking bitch. Like, and yo, if you've been in a relationship with people who are like this towards you, and then you finally have a friend that understands, they've seen this, they've seen the truth of it, not just like what other people have been told, but they're like, yeah, man, y'all are fucking toxic. There's always that one friend that knows. That's like, yeah, man, y'all fucking need to stay away from each other because they've seen it close enough. They've been in a house when a flip off happens or something like that. And they've seen you go, fuck you, bitch. Stay the fuck away from me, and you have to dodge some shit, and that's the friend that goes, hey, man, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go. Now, get out of here. Hey, and there's always a good friend that's willing to talk to the other person. This friend is very important because there's a lot of friends that will just stand around, let it happen, maybe walk away, just be on their phone, and act like nothing's going on. There is another friend, a good friend, that will stand up and go, hey, you, I'm taking him out of here. You take your ass somewhere else. Don't come back around here. Don't come near him. Leave him alone. You know, and they don't start threatening police or nothing. They just state simply, leave him the fuck alone. Don't come after him. Don't do nothing. Leave him alone. He's with me. He's fine. You know, and there's that where that confidence in the fact that they're not escalating a situation by threatening to call police or anything like that. They're just going, this is stopping now. That is what you would think someone like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard would have at all times, and assistants or nurses or doctors. They supposedly always had someone within a stone's throw from them, but at every single moment of this later part of their relationship, apparently, they couldn't be in the same room without wanting to smash a bottle or, fucking scream at each other, which I can understand. I understand how you get yourself in this fucking conundrum of like, I fucking hate this person. I want to fix it. I can't stand to even look at you from across a football field, let alone live in the same fucking bedroom with you. Ugh. I get that. But God, maybe it's because I've been through it. I can't understand why you would choose to wake up and live that way every fucking day. Once you realize it, I think, is the important part. Once you realize, like, oh my God, I do not have to live this way just because we told everyone we were married and we have kids and we got a house together and we got cars and we got all this shit. Just because it's gonna, counteract a few happy Facebook posts that we put up. Like, let me just live my fucking life without wanting to end it every day. That's where you finally get. When you're willing to look at the situation and go, I'm tired of being a lower version of myself. And that's where you might get, where you go, I'm not this person. I don't scream at people like this. I don't talk to people like this. Where the fuck did I even learn how to do this? And you go, oh, I've kind of picked it up, in having to defend myself. And then parts of your true side come out, which to me can bring out the spirituality in people where you go, damn, I can be quite dark. I can think up some shit where you go, whatever Johnny Depp said, like, I hope her body's fucking decaying in the trunk of a Honda Civic. Like, when people put such harshness against you, you can feel very interesting ways that can be quite artistic if you so choose to make them out that way like he does, where you're like, I just want this motherfucker out of my life. Like, I'm simple, and that's probably how I would say it. Like, I just want this motherfucker to go away. But if I just said that on a text to a friend, I fucking hate this bitch. I just hope she disappears. Like, okay, yeah, read that in court. That ain't gonna sound good. But it could mean 100 different things. So it's one of those situations where if you want to judge everyone or someone based on their lowest moments, we can absolutely do that. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good standard. If a crime has been committed, I stand on this. You should hold that person responsible. But if it's poor actions inside of a relationship based within the spectrum of what is a relationship? What is a healthy relationship? What did two people get themselves involved in? And how far did each one of them let that go? That holds a different level of need to know, I guess. And I think we're often disrespecting that in today's day and age, where not everything is need to know. A person's battle with addiction, unless they choose to make that public, should not be. And oftentimes there's a lot of battles with addiction that people probably don't need to tell. It's a very big thing to do now, is get online and talk about your sobriety story, and that's great. Tell your story if you want to and if it helps you and whatever. But it's like a lot of y'all don't have the tools yet to even be able to admit where you've been wrong in your own situation, to be able to really own the situation and the totality of your addiction for what it is and why it's there and how you're preventing it. Some people are just white knuckling it so goddamn hard through life and just counting days and counting days and counting days and calling it sobriety. And you see a lot of that on social media. Day 47, smile. Day 48, smile. And it's like, yo, if you didn't do that, hold up that thing and post it on TikTok and have people kissing your ass for it, would you still do it? Or would your life otherwise be meaningless because you weren't getting the attention of strangers for doing what you're doing? I'm not saying all roads can't lead to Rome, but I'm saying your intentions are going to be when that positivity of day 3065 and people stop giving a fuck because it's just you now, right? Or you've moved on and you've grown and you're doing other shit and people just don't care like they did in the beginning. Like, that's a part of the journey of everything. And then all of a sudden you have to really sit with yourself and go, fuck, man, like, what am I doing all this for? Who am I? What do I want to do? I'm more than just, okay, the sober guy now. Like, what is it? those are the times where you'll find the lessons you need, because you'll have to give them to yourself, and you'll have to sit in the solace of having hurt people and having, conversations in your mind that when you hear audio tapes like these in court where you're like, God damn, like that's just it's too realistic. I've had too many voicemails be left where that by not calling back, you're only furthering what's to come. And so many times, the person knows that you couldn't call back. Or, like they were audio recording each other when they were in the room. But I'm specifically talking about the type of abuse that a person will do, or traumatic things that people will put your sensory fight or flight mode into a hubbub for, which is like when they know you're at work or they know that you're busy, that's when they decide to bring up problems, or they decide to go, oh, hey, like, I fucking hate you because I feel like you don't care about me enough, and I don't feel like you invest enough into our relationship. And it's like, okay, figures you say that now while I'm gone, and I can't defend my fucking self, right? I can't say anything to you because I'm at work. And then you'll get like a call that goes, if you fucking cared, you would stop what you were doing and this and that. And you're like, okay, there's some validity to that. If you were genuinely in an emotional crisis about something, I would absolutely stop what I was doing to make you a priority. But when you seem to find yourself in an emotional crisis 3-4 times a week, I can't necessarily stop myself from maintaining my livelihood to deal with your emotion sporadicness, right? It's hard to do because I care and I want to make things better and I want to reassure you, and I'll do everything that I need to do. But you also have to be able to understand that life comes with limits, right? And people have their limits, i.e., I care. And as in a healthy relationship, this is what you learn is like, I care to a point. I don't care to the point where I'm willing to disturb my own peace for this in any facet. I.e., if you're upset with something I've done, this is the lesson I wish I could give to every young guy out there. If you're in a relationship with a woman, this might help you a lot. If you don't like something that I've done, you have every right, especially if we're in an actual relationship together, to tell me about that. Hey, I don't like that. That doesn't make you, appear in your best light, or I don't like that. That's just not my thing. You can voice that opinion. Asking someone to change to fit you is selfish, because you're saying to fit in my box of what I'm willing to expect and deal with in my life, you have to fit here. I don't love you for who you are. I need you to change all these things and go here. Now, you can say that it's different than that, but it isn't, right? If person A has no issue with what they're doing, whether it be texting people or drinking or drugs or whatever their issue is, if they have no issue doing that, you forcing them to stop doing it for an amount of time will serve you like a jail sentence for an amount of time. But the second that you turn your attention elsewhere, that person will always do what they want to do. Always, 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 always. So you trying to control that other person and say, don't hang out with these people, don't text these people, don't do this, don't do that, don't be around this. If you did care about me, you wouldn't act these ways. Hey, yo, they don't care about you. See how they keep doing shit that keeps making you have to say, if you care about me, you wouldn't do this? It's because they don't care about you. Take that, but don't sit there and argue about it. Because here's what happens. In a person's mind who feels that they constantly have options, right? And they want to play people like options, and they want to play people's emotions, is when you stand in your own ground and go, you know what? I think you're right. I think you're finally right. I think you're better off if you just fuck off, and I'll fuck off that way, and we don't do this anymore. What? You mean you lied to me this whole time, and you don't care about me at all, and you don't like me and all this, and you go, well, no, I didn't say that. I said that where we stand today, I agree with you, we're not good for one another. I'm an ass. Yep, I am a lot of times. Admitted. I'm an ass. I could be an ass. Sure. And then don't point out how there, any wrongdoings of theirs. You're right. You're right. Make them right. You're right. I'm not going to do this anymore. And state it that way. I'm not going to put you through this anymore because you don't feed into their bullshit. But you're right. We're done. That's it. Be prepared because this is where the real fucking freakout's coming. Now you're going to have to defend every moment of silence you've ever taken, every, good night's sleep you ever got that didn't involve physically touching them somehow. You're going to have to defend against every time you smiled when they were, looking the other way or something like this. And it's like, okay, so now we're just understanding that we're not happy together and we're going to just imprison each other for the foreseeable future. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because I'll tell you this, guys, I developed an actual fucking twitch from being in my one of my very significant relationships. Right? A physical fucking twitch, and I don't talk about it much because when I used to talk about it, it would come back. But when I would finally get moments away from this person and I could just talk to my friends, I would start to blink real fast like that. And I just couldn't stop it. And sometimes it would get worse. Like on my drive home, I would have these blinking fits where I almost couldn't drive. But it was my body going, fuck, here we go. Or when I was telling the stories about it, I would fucking twitch. So then even just being in the room with that person, my eyes would start to twitch. And then it became like a sense of funny for them. It's like, oh, twitch and all this funny shit. And it was like, okay, so then I leaned into that, the twitch thing. Because then it was just kind of something to be joked about. But it was like, damn, I didn't realize until years later, it was like, yo, I had never done that before. And it wasn't until I had a pattern of dealing with a certain type of person, and I kind of went in a 3-banger in relationships of same type of person. And then afterwards, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm an alcoholic with a twitch, and I got kids that I don't live with, and my life is a fucking mess, and all I ever wanted was to have a family. And now I'm the exact opposite of that. What the fuck? And you have to be willing to just sit in your own bullshit and go, I was selfish and I made decisions that hurt other people, and I held on to relationships for too long, and I gave into chances when I shouldn't have, and I woke up too many mornings knowing something was over and knowing I should have packed a bag and just left, and I didn't, because it was easier to stay and it was easier to just be miserable in a sense. Because when you get to that place where you've signed on the dotted line and you've got contracts involved and things are real, it's real in life, it's hard to muster the gusto inside of you to sit there, and it has to be by yourself, not with your friends, not with anybody else, and go, I'm fucking leaving. I'm leaving. And you don't tell the person, because especially if you're in danger to do so. You make a plan and you go, okay, on this day, like for me, it was to go to a military school. I knew that once I left for this military school and then ultimately a deployment, I was never going to come back. But there was a long game that I had to play over a sense of years to make sure that my whole world didn't come crumbling down, and that I don't know what could have happened. I don't know at the time. So you have to be able to look and understand, it's tough to realize that you've loved people that never loved you, and you can be genuine in that you loved that person. And just because they didn't have genuine love for you, it could just be that they don't know how to love people. It's nothing personal against you. And sometimes I think that's why things like, trauma bonding happens and narcissistic bonds happen is because it's really hard when you genuinely put your love into someone else. And then when they use that against you, a vulnerable person, when you give your insecurities and your fears and your struggles to someone else, and they do that with you, and you keep those safe, and then someone violates that by holding them against you in a time when you just simply displease them, it cuts like a fucking knife. And then if you have a pattern of being with people like this, well, then you just become a person who doesn't know what love is, and you don't, oftentimes you get a lot of like love bombing tendencies, and you become over attached and stuff and over anxious, and then you could even be like an avoidant detached disorder type thing where you either super attach or when shit goes weird you just completely disengage. Both of those are trauma responses. You should always stay pretty neutral at all times because you should realize that's where health lies. Stressing each other the fuck out to where, okay, great, you'll stay married for 25 years, but one of you is going to die at 55 from high blood pressure because you guys have slowly been killing each other your whole lives. Like, what honor is that? Where's honor in this? So you can tell your kids that lost their dad at 55 or lost their mom to cancer from all the fucking stress that you guys put each other through, that, oh, great, well, your dad and I stayed together a long time till he died, and, we did good, and it was like, and you just lie to them until they find out eventually when you're both dead that you're both full of shit because there's always like a cool aunt or uncle that's like, yo, your parents are full of shit. They fought all the time. Your dad, look, here's a picture. Your dad got drunk. Look at him. Fell off a fucking tractor. Idiot. Like, nobody lives the life that they claim that they live. So, like, be healthy. Don't hold yourself in a shit situation because you're trying to maintain this picture of what life is supposed to be. We're seeing some of the most successful people in the world, and they can't have it managed, so they're having a court manage it for them. So don't feel bad if you're similar to this situation. Guys, I'm going to ask a favor right now. I just released 2 brand new designs today. Everything is what it is, and April showers bring May flowers. I released those designs in multiple different styles today over on the Road to Redemption Podcast.com. You can get to it directly, Road to Redemption Podcast.com/Mad Mental Designs. Go check it out. Go pick something up. Support your boy. If you guys like the messages I bring to you, you think this show is important, your support is always super, super appreciated. And with that, thumbs up the video, subscribe, and I'm going to get out of here. Hit the bell if you want to see it as soon as we drop it. Love you guys.